Welcome to the Weekly Focus English.
Week 7. Green Spaces. Planting Tiny Forests in Big Cities. In 2026, many big cities are planting tiny forests to fight hot weather. Volunteers and children work together to plant native trees in urban parks. These small green spaces grow very fast. They can cool down the city streets, clear the air, and bring beautiful nature back to our daily lives.
So picture a massive city, right? It's the middle of a brutal 2026 summer heat wave. The asphalt is, well, it's practically melting beneath your feet.
Oh yeah, we all know that feeling. It's just awful.
Right. But instead of the city, firing up the power grid to run these massive industrial air conditioners, a crowd of kids and volunteers just descend on a concrete parking lot.
They literally just tear up the pavement.
Exactly. They tear it up and plant a tiny forest. Welcome to today's deep dive, where we are exploring exactly that scenario, drawing on some really fascinating research about, planting tiny forests in big cities.
Which is such a massive shift from how we normally handle this stuff. I mean, usually we think of fighting extreme heat with engineering.
Yeah, like painting rooftops white or, upgrading our HVAC systems.
Exactly. Concrete and steel problems usually seem to demand, like, concrete and steel answers. For a long time, we've just defaulted to mechanical solutions to fix our environment.
Okay, let's unpack this. Major cities right now are actively flipping that script. They're utilizing these pocket-sized green spaces to fight back against the heat. But who is actually tearing up the concrete to build them?
Well, it's definitely not city crews in hard hats, I can tell you that.
No, it's everyday people, especially children, just getting their hands dirty. It reminds me of a flash mob.
A flash mob, I like that.
Yeah. But instead of doing a synchronized dance in a train station and then scattering, they just descend on a patch of dirt and leave behind this rapidly growing ecosystem.
That is such a great visual. It's crowdsourced ecology.
Crowdsourced ecology. I love it.
Yeah, you have a community physically rebuilding their own environment with their own hands. They're inserting these biological counteroffensives right into the concrete jungle.
Okay, but here's where I get stuck. I mean, I love the flash mob analogy, but realistically, if I plant a native seed today, I'm waiting, 20 years for a decent patch of shade?
Right, usually.
So, are native trees the secret ingredient to why the text notes these green spaces grow so incredibly fast? Because how on earth does this serve as an urgent solution to a heat wave right now?
What's fascinating here is that the urgency comes directly from the specific planting technique. It's not just about planting native trees, it's about extreme density.
Wait, density, like planting them super close together.
Exactly. When you crowd these specific native saplings incredibly close together, you trigger this natural survival mechanism. They're literally forced to aggressively compete for sunlight.
Oh, I see. So instead of spreading their branches out wide and taking their sweet time, they just shoot straight up.
Precisely. They grow upward at a staggering rate. It creates this thick, layered canopy in a fraction of the time it normally takes.
Wow, that's wild.
And because they use native species, well, these trees are already perfectly adapted to the local soil and the rainfall. They don't need decades of careful coaxing. They just take off.
That makes total sense. So they rapidly form this dense canopy, which means they immediately start altering that street-level landscape.
Right. You feel the difference almost instantly.
But how exactly are they fighting the heat? I mean, is it purely just providing shade?
Well, shade is a massive part of it, for sure. It blocks the sun from baking the asphalt and, trapping that heat in the city.
Right.
But there's also the mechanism of evapotranspiration.
Evapo what now?
Evapotranspiration. Basically, these dense clusters of trees draw water from the soil and release moisture into the air through their leaves.
Oh, like they're sweating.
Yeah, kind of. And that literally cools the surrounding microclimate. Plus, all those leaves act as a physical filter, trapping particulates and clearing the air of urban pollution.
So what does this all mean? Think about what this actually feels like if you're, stuck walking down a blistering sidewalk in July.
Oh, it's brutal.
It is. But then you turn a corner and suddenly the temperature noticeably drops, the air feels fresher, and you're surrounded by this sudden burst of vibrant green.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely reframes how we view city trees.
How do you mean?
Well, Historically, we've treated urban trees as decorations, right? Just aesthetic additions
Yeah.
to make a sidewalk look pretty.
Yeah, just a nice little bonus to have around.
Exactly. But in 2026, with the extreme heat we're facing, these tiny forests act as critical functional infrastructure. They're acting as localized, self-sustaining air conditioners.
And air purifiers, too, based on what you said about the leaves.
Absolutely.
They're basically biological HVAC systems powered by kids and volunteers. That's just incredible.
It really is. It's a complete shift from seeing nature as a luxury to, well, relying on it as a primary survival tool against extreme heat.
Yeah. So to wrap up our deep dive today, the core takeaway here is that these fast-growing, densely packed native forests are an incredibly powerful dual-purpose tool.
Right. They aren't just beautifying our modern cities.
No, they are actively cooling them down and keeping them livable. It turns out the most efficient infrastructure might just be a native seed, a clever planting method, and a community willing to do the work.
I couldn't said it better myself.
Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If a single tiny forest planted by a neighborhood flash mob can successfully drop the temperature and filter the air of a single city street, how many of these pocket-sized ecosystems would it take to permanently change the climate of an entire metropolis?